J. Jeffers and Company, the Chief Development Officer, Brian Loftin. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Nice to see you. Thanks
Yeah,
for having
nice
us.
to see
J. Jeffers and Company, perhaps our viewers aren't familiar with the company, but they will be, I think, very familiar in the months and years to come, because this is the company that is developing the haze.
Yes. Yeah, we're a company that specializes in adaptive reuse of historic buildings, and very similar to what the Haze is here. What a lovely building, amazing history. We feel very fortunate to be able to be a part of things that have such a deep past, but an opportunity to bring them forward, right, for the next 100 years and figure out how can they be reimagined and be the most useful, not just to the property itself, but even the surrounding area. And this property is no different than this. So.
Yeah, everyone's super excited. You were sharing you're meeting with some retail folks. The buzz is good.
Well, we're excited about it. I think what makes it interesting is because of the scale of this property.
Right.
You do have the ability to do the commercial on the really bottom 2 floors of this, and that's really where most of the history still exists, right? From the floors you can see in these photos here, the ballroom area, right, and being able to bring the past into the present, and then really from the 3rd floor up is where we get into the residential opportunities, both shorter term corporate rentals, places now for folks that are coming in maybe for weddings, or we were talking about golfing, right? An opportunity to stay there and then see the many different golf courses that are around the area.
When you first saw that this building and you see kind of the old hotel style, does it drive you nuts on how small those rooms were to begin with?
Well, there was quite a bit of demolition that had taken place on those floors, so you couldn't quite see the walls there, but you could see the floor print, right, and see where the showers were and that. But yeah, that's kind of common of where it is. It's certainly not what we're used to today, right? In the era of kind of excess, if you will. Yeah.
So we're seeing renderings of what some of the spaces in the apartments will look like. The apartments will have a lobby on the 3rd floor, and then floors 1 and 2 will be what?
So floors 1 and 2 are the retail side. So the re-envisioning of the old drum room, right, and bringing that back to restaurant use is there, and we're very close to being able to announce that partner for it, which we're excited about, who will also be involved in the event space up above. So great opportunities for weddings, anniversaries, different outings there as well. And then we have on Michigan Avenue, we've got the straight commercial fronts there. So we've got 5 commercial spaces there. Could be combined or stayed separate, that we're working through multiple groups that have an interest in that as well.
How important, from your company's perspective, was the previous development that's been done in our downtown over the last 10, 15 years?
Well, this happens because of decades of care and curating, right? The city's held on to the building. They didn't tear it down, which is wonderful. A lot of times we're the first thing into the market. That's going to be the catalyst for all the rest of the change. In this case, the rest of the change has happened. Downtown is beautiful looking, it's vibrant, it's created the parking lanes, it's created all the opportunities for people to be able to come down and visit. It's extremely walkable. So we feel like we're in a unique position this time to kind of put the candle, if you will, on top of the cake. That's here.
Yeah, it's the capstone. And you have such a track record of taking buildings like this and developing into beautiful spaces. And I would suggest people just check the Jeffers website, because you've got all the examples of places like the Milwaukee Athletic Club, which has a lot of similarities to the Hayes building.
Yeah, it does have some similarities in the fact that it's more of a high-rise type building. It does have residential with there. Obviously, commercial there is an actual kind of fitness and health club, a little bit different from that side. But it does blend all the different uses together. These projects are a challenge. They've got complicated capital stacks. There's a reason why it hasn't been developed to date. So plenty of hurdles to jump through with that, but we're making progress.
Yeah, we've had the pandemic and the interest rate climb since the project was first announced, and those have been challenges.
They certainly have. First was just the increased cost of construction pricing that everybody heard about. Everybody was staying home and remodeling things, and the pipeline was getting tight. As that started to balance out, kind of outside of MEPs, which still are actually pretty high at this point, interest rates have more than doubled what they were in that time frame. So managing that process, using the different tools. MEDC has been a great partner on this project thus far. We're using historic tax credits for this. It's a smaller market and a smaller deal, but because of our relationships and other markets with larger projects, we've been able to kind of wrangle them in and say, we really need you to come in and help us with this one too from a tax credit perspective. So it's been great. Jonathan Green and the city staff, the mayor, city council have been incredibly supportive along this way, and the business community here. I mean, when you have the public sector, the business community, and then the public side from the government side all working together, a lot of great things can happen. And so we've been very appreciative of that effort.
Any key dates on your radar or timeline that you could share?
Well, we're really hoping to get this landed and off and running here in late spring, early summer. The plans are in for permitting with the city now, which was a great big step to get that moving forward with. So we're hopeful to start adding a little bit more press around some of the folks that will come in and take some of the retail spots and spaces, and then get into some active lease, even pre-leasing of the units. So it'll be nice to have that here. We're excited to get going. As you alluded to, Bart, it's been a couple of years now at this point, but yeah, we're very pleased.
Now you have all of your history and your track record in Milwaukee area. Why this foray into Michigan and Jackson?
Well, part of that was how I joined the company almost 3 years ago, was to help expand the footprint outside of Milwaukee and really take us across the United States. This was one of those RFPs, the Anchor Initiative, which I think has just now dissolved in its last piece. Did a great job of attracting us to come over and take a look at this piece. And Preservation Forward and their group, introducing us to this particular spot. So we're excited about it. Again, Jackson is a nice spot. It's a good transition between Detroit and Chicago. I think there's plenty to do around in the area, so we're excited about it.
I'm glad you mentioned the Anchor, because it was the Anchor, and specifically Scott Fleming,
Absolutely.
Who chased you guys down.
He did.
You wouldn't have known about it. You wouldn't have come here if Scott hadn't been doggedly pursuing a developer, and you're the one.
I agree, and that was heavily supported by the business around here, investing in the Anchor Initiative, and that's what I mean. Everyone's really been pulling in the same direction, and because of that, we'll get over the hump, and we'll get this thing moving forward. And the last 3 years we won't remember, right?
Yeah,
once it's open and we're moving forward. So.
Yeah, it's hard to even think that we are to this point, right?
So you have a partner for the drum room, an operator. You're really close to announcing that.
Correct. Can't announce it today, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. But the apartments, people are wondering, well, when can I rent one? How much are they going to be? Do we know anything like that yet?
Yeah, so once we start construction, it'll be about a 14-month time of construction from start to finish to delivery of the units. We'll start pre-leasing probably 7 months prior to that, so there'll be opportunities for it. TheHayesJackson.com is the website, so you can pop in there and see. There's also, I think, a comments or questions section that people can send things in there, and we'll get a response back.
I think the units will fill up pretty quick.
I'm sure they will. All the other apartments downtown like that.
They really have. Yeah, there's definitely a need for it. There's a need for this kind of extended stay corporate opportunity as well with inside of it. I know initially the hope was to do a hotel and those things. I mean, if we had gone down the hotel path, we would be nowhere near being able to close this right now. That's even a more challenging industry right now to close things. But finding a balance between the need for the residential and then also being able to find these corporate leases, and then really being able to activate the historic aspect of the building, is wonderful. So we're excited for this.
Yeah, very exciting.
And the name officially is?
The Hayes.
The Hayes. So that, for all the people that were troubled by the controversy between Hotel Hayes and the Hayes Hotel, it's just the Hayes.
The Hayes sounds good to me.
The Hayes.
The Hayes.
Coming in 2025.
I like that part.
Sure.
You could plant the flag. I like that.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you and your company for your investment in our community.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming tonight.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Or
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having us.
Yeah. Tonight you'll be at the City Council meeting.
Either way. Yeah, either way.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Brian Loftin is Chief Development Officer of J. Jeffers and Company, developers of the Hayes. More of the morning show after this.